There is a bit of optimism brewing in the CV market on reports that a lot of the CV makers are giving a rural push, a push in the rural and semi-urban areas. Joining us to discuss any possible positive vibes from these areas is Ramesh Iyer, Managing Director, Mahindra & Mahindra Financial. Ramesh, thanks much for joining us. Before we come to that discussion itself, just a word on what we picked up from the NHAI. We understand that they are now going to be very strict about preventing overloading of trucks on national highways. How seriously are you receiving this news? Will it just end up in, more bribes being paid to make off to road officials? Or do you think this could rub off on the CV makers and CV demand?
See, I personally think, it could be a good move in the sense that the quality of asset would get maintained, which would mean the life of the asset gets extended and the resale price of the asset would therefore be better off. This kind of overloading problems normally are faced by individual who own vehicle, but as far as the fleet operator is concerned, he would be always happy with adequate loading capacities, and he should actually have volumes available to transport, which is what a fleet operator would look for. So I think overall it should not have any major impact per se in terms of whether overspending required to be done to overload the vehicle, etc.
So overloading is not a norm, you're saying?
A good quality. No, it's not a norm. I would think, with the kind of facilities now available, the quality of drivers improving, all kinds of things, the turnaround time for the trucks have improved, so number of trips that they make have all changed. So I think the economic viability by itself is substantially changed from the past, where probably the overloading was required in order to make the whole operations more viable. But I think that economics have changed now, and I guess they would look for is the life of the asset to be longer, therefore being used better, and then the resale price of the asset to be well protected at the end of the the overall period of its use.
Mr. Iyer, hi, morning. There are many reports floating around that CV makers are now making a big push into the rural and semi-urban areas. For you particularly, for M&M Financial, I think about almost 7 to 8% comes from the CV sector in terms of a loan book. Can you tell us how much of a potential do you see for it to grow further as a percentage of your loan book? And also, now that you have the M&M Navistar JV to capitalize on, how much of that sales do you think you could do or addition to your loan book?
See, clearly we launched this product for us only last year, and then we saw the 7% of the balance sheet coming from this product, and clearly going forward, that's one very clear focus area for us is commercial vehicle construction equipment, both of this which were not there in a big way in our balance sheet. If you look at the overall scenario around the semi-urban rural area, I would guess it comes from various projects, whether it is power, telecom, airports, roads, bridges, whatever. All these infrastructure projects which are working around is absorbing lot of such assets, and we see a lot of individuals who are buying these assets and are deploying them in this market on a hiring basis, and therefore we see this as a great potential for us, and going ahead, maybe about 10-12% of the balance sheet will surely come from this kind of products.
Okay, Ramesh, the data gives us mixed signals about infrastructure development, which you are referring to as one of the big users of commercial vehicles. The NHAI order flow was believed to have dipped considerably in Q3 and early Q4. Also, the capex cycle is, anecdotal evidence suggests that it is slowing down. What is the sense you are getting in terms of CV demand if you were to compare Q4 to Q3? Or more correctly, if you were to compare perhaps all of FY11 to what you see the early trends in FY12, what kind of a growth trajectory can you say? Are we rising at a faster pace, or is the pace kind of flattening out?
I think I am seeing a rise at a faster pace, especially for certain applications, like for example the tippers. We have seen the growth of tipper, which is one of the overall CV product. We have seen a growth to be much faster there, probably because of as I mentioned, various projects which are ongoing. We're also seeing movement upward in the container movement segment, where we are seeing movement of container seems to have improved. The overall segment must have looked a little slowing down, or maybe the growth is not as aggressive as one thought it to to be. But then if you kind of pick up within the overall segment certain specific product application, we are able to see the growth there. Like, related growth would be the construction equipment, like the JCB excavators, etc. We've seen large volumes being transacted there, and each of these excavation equipment normally also deploys a lot of this tippers or dumpers that we call, and I would think that segment has witnessed growth, and which is a segment that we are participating in, helps us grow as well.
So if you had to give us some kind of evidence on that front with respect to your company, the AUMs have been extremely strong. What kind of disbursement targets can you lay out for the next couple of quarters? I think you're currently sitting at a 40% YOY growth. Can you tell us how much you can maintain in the next couple of quarters?
See, clearly for us, the semi-urban rural market that we focused last about 12 months, if you take, we have added about 100 branches, and this 100 branches would actually start delivering for us as we move along. Not all of the benefit would have come already this year. The first 9 months growth has been very, very buoyant. All through 9 months we've seen the growth, and invariably the last quarter is extremely a buoyant quarter for the rural market. So I think this kind of a 40% growth that we have seen, clearly as far as the asset availability is concerned, I don't think that's been any concern for us, nor on the liability side any concern. Always we look at the growth coming from, we need to add people in the system to be able to manage this kind of asset growth, and then to put them on street, duly trained, etc. I think our growth is normally guided by the number of people that we can take in the system, and we kind of recruit about 1,000-1,500 people at the beginning of the year. Which would mean to manage a 30-40% growth should not be a big challenge.
And what about the, sure, just one more question on the rising cost of funds. The last time you said that, because of your hike in lending rates that you did in November and December, you will be able to maintain your NIMs at somewhere around 11% or so. We've seen the situation sort of worsen since then. Do you think this 11% can be maintained, or do you think you'll dip below that?
Yeah, clearly, because we had a good asset liability match. If you look at our numbers, we always have 80% of our assets are well matched to liability, and any new borrowing that comes with a new rate is a part of the new pricing to the customer, and all our asset sides are also on a fixed rate basis. So when we have kind of factored in the borrowing cost already in our lending rate, we don't see a dip in the margin. But if at all the borrowing cost had to go up any further as we go along, it would mean a part of the current borrowing would come at the new cost, which would therefore be priced to the customer on the basis of the new lending.
So can you give us an idea of how much has your cost of funds gone up, from what percentage to what? Were you borrowing at 11 and you're now paying 12? What's the rise in the cost of funds, and what is the rise in the cost of lending?
See, clearly the volatility has been on the short end actually. If you kind of look at short-term money, less than 1 year money, the price has gone up upward of 2-3% also.
Okay.
And most of our borrowings are in the range of 24-30 months kind of a product, where the interest cost has gone up by 1%. And we have taken 2 price increases last year, and we have covered that 1%.
Okay, alright, fine. Thanks a lot, Ramesh, for joining us with all this.